YouTube, it's time. The new OCG ban list. Why is this ban list very important? It's much more important than the TCG because Konami Japan runs the OCG and Master Duel. And usually, whatever they do in the OCG ban list comes to Master Duel sooner or later. With that in mind, let's hop in. Boom. I clicked it. There we go. Effective January 1st. First off, we want to see what the tier list is looking like. Not the TCG, but the OCG. And if you want, you could expand it to the past 3 months. Last 1 month is pretty accurate. It looks like we have Draco Tail, Yummy, Malice, Pyramid Tsurugi, Vanquish Soul, Sky Striker, Branded being among the top decks. If we do the last 3 months, it's Yummy, Draco Tail, Malice, still the top 3 decks. Pretty much no changes, just the order changed a little bit. Now, 16% for the top deck, 20% for Draco Tail. Let's see, TCG 21%. This is looking quite healthy. Now, we should be suspecting within the top 10 decks here to get hit. Now, let's see. All right. Let me zoom in a bit more. Changes. This should be unlimiteds first. Newly unlimited. Astrograph Sorcerer. It is already unlimited in Master Duel, and I don't see it. It's nowhere to be freaking seen. What the heck? Astrograph is here, and I guess it's kind of okay. Pendulum Chads, where are you at? And the TCG Electromite is still banned, yet this is still limited to 1 over there. TCG is really afraid of Pendulum. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they don't have Maxx C, and they think that's the only way to balance out Pendulums, possibly. Sure, okay. Let's keep on going. Eclipse Wyvern, 1 to 3. This is the only place where Wyvern is not only available, where it was first limited to 1, and then now it's fully unlimited, doing absolutely nothing. You would think a good use of this is banishing Leveneer, then add back Leveneer, but that's a turn 2 play. What is a good turn 1? How does this increase your turn 1 disruption? Back in my day, we would be banishing a big dragon like that and then, popping off. But modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Is Eclipse Wyvern already power crept or not so good? I would fear that there's maybe some weird first turn kill loop with this. That is why I would want this banned, unless I was sure that this would not be enabling something insane. But OCG is confident that it's okay, yet not confident enough to allow it in Master Duel. It's really suspicious. I want to see if it's actually seen use at all in any deck. No. So it went from 1 to 3, it's 0 use. So this will maybe give you the nudge to finally use this. What is this? Bystial. Bystial Baldrake. This card was semi-limited? What the heck? Okay. Across the board, the Bystials are fine now. Now, if I open up the search, it should not be spoiling anything with the OCG. We'll open up the TCG. And if we type in Bystial, what is the situation with Bystials? Magnum. Okay, since we're under Bystial, I'm going to do OCG. Boom. Magnum Hut, 1 across the board. I guess there are other Bystial on hits. We would be seeing them right now. Master Duel, we have unlimited Jerusalem, still limited to 1 on Jerusalem. That is crazy. They have Lubellion limited to 1, and I believe this was a branded hit. So I guess they're just slowly unlimiting, unrestricting up the Bystials. Sure. Emergency from 2 to 3. I think this is another catch-up. Catching up to Master Duel, catching up to the TCG, and let's see, Rescue Ace. I think it's fully unhit now. In the TCG, it's unhit. In the OCG, it's just fully unfreaking hit. Okay, welcome back, Rescue Ace. And I can see right here, Pot of Desires. Also coming back from 2 to 3. This is still limited to 1 in Master Duel. The pots in Master Duel are much more heavily restricted across the board. We got what? Pot of P is freaking banned. Pot of D, okay, very good. Sure, these are not really big impactful hits so far. Nothing meta-changing, I think. Purely Sleepy Memory. The ability to now draw 6, got the other finger up, in the standby phase is now back for OCG. Fully unlimited Master Duel, and I'm shocked that this was one of the best decks. Dominated the Duelist Cup, dominated the Meta Championship Series $1,000 tournament, and we have it fully unlimited back, and it's doing nothing. So really, that's a great showcase of power creep in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Even getting crazier when we thought the game was already crazy. How is a fully unhit purely deck still not good? My chair's falling apart. I just ripped this off. All right, let's see. What is this? What is this? Pressure Planet Wraithsoth, the Kashtira field spell. Limited to 1 in Master Duel. Now, In TCG and OCG, they have terraforming. We don't. So fully limiting this, that's quite interesting. The Kashtira engine being techable in multiple different decks, I think that is the lesser of two evils, where the bigger evil is making a top tier deck exclusive to all the people playing that and it dominates everything, where instead, you know, Konami has to make money. So if they make techable archetypes, techable engines across multiple different decks to make money off that, as long as, you know, that's not coming at the cost of homogenizing the entire game around a single engine and everyone using it, I'm okay with this. This is fine, okay? Now, Kashtira as a whole, in the OCG and TCG, I believe a Rise Heart is banned. What is the situation with Kashtira? If there are any Kashtira unhits here, we'll get spoiled. Let's see, Kashtira, a Rise Heart's banned in the TCG, and the OCG, Unicorn to 1? We have it semi-limited. Wow, Tier Cash is still been hit for a while. Is it time to unhit Tier Cash? That may be a good unhit for Tier Limit. Fenrir is banned. What the heck? I don't remember that. Was that a while ago or what? Banned Fenrir. So that gives a lot more context on why the field spell is allowed to be at 3, with Fenrir being freaking banned. Insane. Okay. Newly semi-limited. Sprite starter. Spright is another deck that's fully unlimited in Master Duel. Completely. Besides Totally Awesome. Totally Awesome is banned, but every other card with the word Sprite on it, we have it, and it's not doing much. Okay. So I do think they also like to test things out in Master Duel to see if things are better or worthy of taking off the ban list. And, you know, they're still quite conservative with this. 1 to 2? What are they afraid of? What's going on here? Ash, what? Ash Blossom? What the? What? Ash is hit? No way. This is the most used card across the board in every format, you know, where Maxx C is not existing. In the TCG, Ash is number 1. OCG, Ash is number 2 alongside the... Wait. I just spoiled myself. Maxx C's 1? What? What the? What? Maxx C's 1. Maxx C went to freaking 1. Oh my gosh. It went to 2 in OCG, and then it went to 2 in Master Duel. That means that this could go to 1 in Master Duel. No freaking way. Wow. I was thinking, you know, the Maxx C copers, they cope on every single ban list. I was thinking it was possibly even a bad idea to semi-limit Maxx C only because it gave false hope that they would further hit the card. Every ban list after Maxx C got semi-limited, the crowd was roaring so loud to continually hit Maxx C. They were never ending, unrelenting, crying for Maxx C to get hit, and they weren't coping. It's real. It actually is further getting hit. Is Konami responding to the community? Because I believe the perception is that Japan players don't really care as much about Maxx C. Every time, you know, I see little tidbits of people trying to Google Translate someone talking about Maxx C, and they just see it as, you know, it's whatever. It's a card that exists. We play around it. We don't cry about it as much as the TCG or Master Duel players. But wow, this would be on my Master Duel ban list prediction. We should be getting a ban list this week for Master Duel, and Maxx C could freaking be on it. And Ash being semi-limited is the most powerful hand trap. Well, only because of Maxx C. Well, we just saw TCG. Even without the existence of Maxx C, now you could argue this does help against Mulcharmies. Yes, that is definitely something where this has dual use of being usable right away on your turn 1 to negate a freaking Mulcharmy effect so you can continue to play. Wow, 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 wow. This is insane. Is Yu-Gi-Oh! Healing or what? I think one of the biggest problems of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the power of turn 1, which necessitates the use of hand traps so you have a chance to go second, but then those hand traps that are required to have a chance going second further boost up the power of going first, because if you hard open up your Ash or your Maxx C, now the turn 2 player even is less likely to have a chance against you. It's a double-edged freaking sword. It's horrible. I think across the board, they need to change the generic good hand traps to require you to control no cards to even be usable, similar to a Mulcharmy, but not draw on its effect. Or they need to create more in-archetypal turn 0 disruption. Give every deck a Femina-like effect. Give more decks cards like Azuna, which we don't have in Master Duel yet, but that's pretty much a cool hand trap. Okay, this, wow, Ash to 2 is something. And then I guess this would naturally have me discussing that this card is even more necessary to stop a toxic card like Maxx C. So, you know, this in tandem had to, if Ash is making the game more toxic because it further boosts up the power of turn 1 and it's necessary to play to go second, but then it helps stop a card like Maxx C. So then I guess it forced their hand. They have to also hit Maxx C with this. So thank you, Ash, for getting reduced. You know, do we give credit to Ash Blossom for getting Maxx C limited to 1 or what? And maybe to get Maxx C banned, we put Ash to 1. Just Ash to 1, Maxx C to freaking 0. That may be a possibility. Wow. Okay. Very nice. Whew, this is something. This is definitely something. I think it's very much an important skill to learn how to play around Ash Blossom more so than any other hand trap in the game. The top players do definitely benefit from it, but you know, this is not cool. I don't want to be stopping crazy big combos with a little ghost girl with her feet out. I want to be stopping you with Dark Magician, Arthalion Summon, return your cards back, summon a giant furry with the Zuna going into the Nash Knight and suck you up. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's see. Let's see. What is this? What is this? S? Solemn Judgment. Semi-limited, at least in every format. This was limited to 1 back in my day. I could have never imagined it being unlimited. And, you know, it's a big difference in the TCG and OCG where they do have a side deck. This was incorrectly restricted in Master Duel. I really don't understand why. That made no sense. But I play a lot on the TCG and OCG simulators where you side this in. If you know you're going to go, you lose game 1, you side in Solemn Judgment, going second, of course, and then you side it out after you win game 2. That's it. It's a very powerful side deck card. Sure. Okay. What else do we have here? The other Solemn card I feel is better than this in a more general sense where you don't know if you're going first or second because if you're going second and you set the other Solemn card that could actually negate a monster effect, and let's say they have a Baron to Floor, on their next turn, you pass back, so then they activate Baron to Floor, they activate something, you'll negate and destroy, where Solemn Judgment against a fully built field is absolutely trash. It does not do anything against monster effects. Dominus Impulse. What? Ash to 2 and Dominus Impulse. Well, I've been saying that these hand traps are toxically being necessary to go second, but also boosting up the power of turn 1. And what's really insane about decks like Malice and, you know, Draco Tail, even though, you know, they're not playing this in Draco Tail, but when the decks are part of their combo, they're drawing a bunch of cards, they have the ability to randomly be drawing into the non-engine that makes the turn 1 more powerful. Randomly drawing into Ash, randomly drawing into Maxx C, randomly drawing into freaking Dominus Impulse. Dominus Impulse, for a lot of your combos, it is comparable to the Ash Blossom and how you have to try to play around it. And I feel like people more so than not just feel cheated when the Impulse just completely shuts them down because not every single deck could play it. But the decks that can play it, it's a huge freaking deal. It's enough to make you not want to play Fiendsmith in your Mitsurugi because you're not able to use light monsters with this, but with how powerful Dominus freaking Impulse is, damn. Okay, that is crazy. Purge will definitely not get hit. Purge is not as good as the Impulse. Wow. All right. Let's see here. Malice, Mitsurugi, Lunalight are the most used. I mean, these semi-limits are kind of, I spoiled the Maxx C limit to 1, so that's maybe why I'm feeling so crazy about this ban list so far, but wow, this is a ban list. Let's see. Newly limited, totally awesome. Still banned in Master Duel, totally awesome, is legal in the OCG. Okay, now we have to look at Sprite. What is going on with Sprite? Does this break Sprite? Sprite in TCG is, they have the Elf banned, also banned in the OCG, so that's a big, I keep scrolling the next card down. What the heck? Metamorphosis, okay, we'll get to that, because I gotta look at the card search. Oh my Jesus. Maybe I should open up a new tab to look at the card search, but now my mind's messed up. Metamorphosis, what the heck does that mean? Okay, hold up. So Sprite, what's going on with Sprite? Sprite Blue still limited 1, Starter, semi-limited, Alpha's banned. Konami OCG is afraid of Sprite, and you know they did allow you to have Totally Awesome, but with Blue to 1, Starter went from 1 to 2. We still have Elf freaking banned. There's another Sprite card that allows you to use Totally Awesome more than once, so it's not just the Elf. In Master Duel, if they were to unlimit the Totally Awesome, we'd be using it 3 times. Its initial summon, being on the field, being reborn with the elf, and then the double cross. Double cross would be able to re-special summon back out your Totally Awesome to then be negating again. Okay, yep. So double Totally Awesome. What about the Bahamut Shark? Baja Shark is legal. All right, yep. There are some people that legit summon the Totally Awesome, like Sprite, but mostly a lot of people are doing the Bahamut, which is going to be a huge boost for Shark and Mermail decks. You can see right there, most using those decks. Good boost for them. Wow. And then the card I already saw, Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis to 1. What the heck? Like, I'd have to like look on YouTube, Metamorphosis combo. What were they doing back in the day? 2002. It's crazy that a lot of people watching this video right now were not even born by then. 2002. Special summon a fusion monster from your extra deck with the same level as a monster you tribute. I think the most popular card with this, correct me if I'm wrong, was summoning Thousand Eyes Restrict. Is this going to be super crazy? Other monsters on the field cannot change their battle positions. You can target a monster your opponent controls and then give it that good suck. If this would be destroyed by battle, destroy the equipped monster instead. Wow, that's insane. But I guess this is good anti-hand trap. Some people would use this with instant fusion. So let's pretend like you have a really good combo that you want to do and you normal summon your Veiler or you normal summon your Droll and Lockbird. You activate Metamorphosis on it to summon the Millennium Eyes Restrict. And then you activate a card, which let's say Branded Fusion. They then chain an Ash Blossom. Well, the Millennium Eyes Restrict is going to target the Ash Blossom that they control or in the graveyard, equip it, and then monsters with the equipped monster's original name have their effects negated. So that would be the combo there if you want to put this. Now, in my combo, that's taking up your normal summon. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot more crazy, degenerate ways to use this. What are the most popular fusions to abuse it in? What is good? Is there, what's chat saying that's good? Mitsu, what are we summoning with this? We need like small. Max level would be like level 4. What's the best level 4 or lower fusions to summon off of this? That'd be insane. Kaliga is a floodgate. That's not good. So, you know, this is a bit healthier. It gives you hand trap resilience, but normal summon Fool Loss, metamorph it into a Kaliga? What the heck? Each player can only attempt to activate 1 monster effect per turn? That's not good. Hopefully that does not become popular because that is definitely an issue. If people just randomly tech that in. What else do we have here? I guess those are just 2 interesting ones. The Eyes Restricting Kaliga is what I'm thinking. Okay, sure, let's go back to the ban list. Maybe OCG is going to be cooking up something. Or maybe there's going to be a really weird ban that we don't understand that's tied to the Metamorphosis having to be unhit. What would that even be? What breaks Metamorphosis? All right, I think people are using this with Scapegoat, right? Scapegoat summon a bunch of tokens and then they tribute off the token. So what do you, Scapegoat would then disallow you from further normaling. But okay, yep, Scapegoat's back. Scapegoat banned? It's not banned. Scapegoat's not that good, right? Ice Ryzeal. Wait, did we just look at the tier list? I don't remember Ryzeal. Tier list, Draco, Yummy, Malice, Mitts, Vanquish, Sky Striker, Branded. What the heck? Yummy, Drake, so past 3 months, Malice, Mitts, Sky Striker, Vanquish, Branded. Ryzeal Mitsurugi down here? What the heck? Why is this a hit? Why is Ice Ryzeal to 1? Okay, maybe we're only halfway through the ban list and they're going to further massively hit the other decks where they predict. I know it's a crazy thought that Konami's actually in-house testing their decks and their ban list before pushing out whatever nonsense onto us, but if internal testing shows that Ryzeal is going to rise to the top with the other decks possibly getting hit, I guess that's how I would make sense of this. Otherwise, it does not make sense really. Sure. Okay. Let's see. Maxx C to 1, we already saw that. Huge ramifications for Master Duel. This is big. Limited to 1 Maxx freaking C. So let's try to put this into context. I think I'll click onto this. Yu-Gi-Oh! Card hand probability. What's a good one? Maybe this one, deckprobability.com. This site's kind of confusing to me. Starter. So if we have 2 Maxx Cs, our chance of having a Maxx C in our opening hand. So we have a hand size of 5. We're going second. Before it was 3. So this would be 3 out of 10 duels your opponent Maxx Cs you. And then it was 2 out of 10 duels you'd get Maxx C'd. And now, so 20 to 30% of your games were absolutely ruined, right? And then boom. Now only 1 in 10, about 1 in 10 of your duels, you should get Maxx C'd. That is a huge drop from 30% of your duels, which, 30 duels out of 100, that really gets messed up. Now only about 12 out of 100 of your duels should you still be seeing the Maxx freaking C. And of course, that's just in the OCG, but we know. It's coming to Master Duel. We know it. It's not even cope. That's just an educated guess. We know this is going to happen. It does not mean it's happening this week, but it's going to happen. Probably it may even happen this week, actually. How soon after it got hit in the OCG did it then get hit in Master Duel? I don't know when, if someone has a good memory on that. What else we got? Draco Tail Malulu 2-1. Okay, they already have Key 2 Draco Tail limited to 1 in OCG, and now they have this on top of it. Sure. This giving you a non-target negate. It also is a combo enabler, using up your normal summon. It gives you better hand trap resilience than normal summoning the Lucius, where if they were to imperm or Veiler your Lucius, you may be screwed, but if they negate your Malulu, you then get to pass to your opponent's turn, then activate again during the main phase. So this is definitely a good card. I think hitting the Lucius would have been a stronger hit. Lucius still is a better card, but yeah, okay. Good little hit to Draco Tail. What else we have here? Yummy, the new one. Marshmallow Yummy, limited to 1. I have to go back after the full hits to look at Draco Tail and Yummy to see what other cards are hit here. I think Snatchy is semi-limited. I believe Obedience School is banned, and Herald of Arclight is limited to 1. If I'm remembering, those are all of the Yummy hits, and now the Marshmallow Yummy in addition to that. Okay, interesting. So what was really good about this one compared to the other ones is the other ones require there to be a body on the field to special summon. This one could special summon without taking up your normal summon, with no bodies on the field. And then it would recycle back your quick play spell, which was also very powerful. Okay. Snatchy from 2 to 1. What the heck? Okay, only 1 Snatchy. This is their main combo enabler. This one is going to be, it's not, well, in a way, it's kind of like Arthalion. You want it out on your turn. You want it out on the opponent's turn. You are using it on both turns. This is your main synchro. You're going to synchro during the opponent's turn. You're going to synchro on your turn. For this to be limited to 1, damn. If this gets Bystial banished, that's now a big deal. Your only copy of Snatchy getting banished away, because it likes going in the graveyard and then you try to reborn it back. Now, if they lead with a Bystial, you could then chain your synchro to reborn it back, but obviously that's not how it's going to be played. Wow. Okay, and the Baldric did get unlimited, so I would say that now Bystials, where Bystials are not really good against this deck, I'd say they're now good because of Snatchy going to 1. Huh. This makes me think that there's a possibility that Snatchy could come to Master Duel semi-limited, and I'm all for them releasing the really good decks pre-hit because I want them to maintain good deck diversity. We don't need to go through the song and dance of every new deck that's super top tier is the de facto best deck to play over everything else. It's boring, it's predictive, it makes people quit the game. You only need the new best decks to be a little bit better for everyone to still want to play the deck. That's Konami. You'll still make money, I promise you. Okay, let's see. And I'm a fan of this deck, so I'm not just trying to call for nerfs on a deck I don't like. I enjoy this deck. Pre-prep. Woo, pre-prep 3-1. I really dislike this card. When you think of the back and forth of skillful play and how to use your hand traps and how to not use your hand traps and try to bait hand traps, this eats your ash. It eats your freaking ash. Like, you have to ash this, but then you also have to ash Saji. So this, in a way, reminds me of the Obedience School. It's like you have to negate it, but then there's other cards that you also want to negate. It just eats ash for free, and it's so freaking broken. It's way too good. Now, there's the downside where the Mitsurugi mirror is a garnet, so it's funny, sometimes they open up the mirror, then this is not even activatable. But when mirror's on the deck, this is way too freaking good. I even recently got freaking sacked by this. I was so annoyed. Okay, sure. I'm for that, yeah. I think of this and Obedience Skull is on the same level pretty much. Call with the Grave to 1. That is what we already have in Master Duel. Okay. There's less ash to finger, and now there's less fingers for the ash. Interesting. Okay. And on the mindset of Obedience Skull and Preparation of Rites, I also think of, in that same category, Branded Fusion for Draco Tail, that is. For Draco Tail, that you can't really play around the Branded Fusion. They either have it or they don't. These hard-drawn, super powerful cards, they happen to all be spells, is, I think, just not good for the game. And that's why I think a Genesis point-like system, if they were to not call it Genesis and Master Duel, but just change the Master Duel ban list to officially be a Genesis point system where the decks like Branded could still use Branded Fusion at 2 or 3, but then Draco Tail can only use Branded Fusion at 0, because we're in that really weird situation where you have a powerful card used across multiple different decks and they can't really hit it without hurting other people, but it's way too broken in a deck like Draco Tail. All right, let's see. Call with the Grave. Ooh, only one finger. Forbidden. Okay, these limit to 1s. Ooh, especially the Maxx C. Ice Rise Zeal is kind of confusing. Metamorphosis is going to be interesting. Totally Awesome is totally going to be doing something, I would think. Okay, all right. Forbidden. What could we forbid? What is forbiddable? Maxx C is something we want to forbid, but what else? Moon of the Closed Heaven. This was a TCG only hit. Now it's hit across the board except Master Duel. What the heck? Now, I was comparing Moon to Anaconda recently, especially in the use, I'm trying to snooze an ad here, especially in the use in Draco Tail where, you could, in Draco Tail you have the option, you can go into Seals, you can go into Anaconda, or you can go into Moon of the Closed Heaven before activating your Rahu. And wow, only in Master Duel do we have Anaconda and Moon of the Closed Heaven. Ooh, something's going to happen to Moon in Master Duel soon, surely, right? Oh boy. Similarly to Maxx C again, limited 1, which is what a lot of us want. I think pretty much everyone. Yeah, I'm not sure how many people feel about the Moon of the Closed Heaven. I feel that if Orcust is the best deck, Moon of the Closed Heaven being alongside used with the Orcust Nightmare card is quite freaking broken. So yeah, this is just a future. It's a problem waiting to happen. If it's not a problem, it will be a problem. All right. Even though it's not currently an issue in Master Duel. What else we got? Splash. What? Same thing as TCG. How I believe the TCG ban list works is they get together, they set up a ban list, they submit it to Konami Japan. Konami Japan says, that's trash, you're not allowed to do that, you have to change this. I think a ban list even got delayed because of that, where they probably had a back and forth of not agreeing on what they would allow them to restrict. But in that same essence, I think that when Konami submits their ban list for review, TCG, that Japan Konami says, can you add this card to your ban list also? Because we want to test it in your format first, and then we may bring it to OCG. So, it's very difficult to figure out, were these originally TCG ideas? And then Konami Japan says, hey, good job, it actually worked out. Or did Konami Japan force them onto their ban list to test it out first? And instead of Splash Mage getting banned in Master Duel, we got Ransom banned. Splash Mage, as you can see here, most used in Malice, Marincis, Ignister. Well, Marincis is not an issue. Ignister is not an issue. So Malice, okay? And you always have to think about a card like Splash Mage with future Cyberse deck supports. If they're creating a new Cyberse deck type and you're a fan of Cyberse, I know you'll be thinking, like, what the heck, I'm a fan of Cyberse, I'm not for Splash Mage getting hit. What if they are arbitrarily reducing the power of a future Cyberse deck type because of the existence of Splash Mage? I had this same discussion about Apollo USA, where they would decide to not give a new deck a boss monster because they are a deck that could just summon Apollo. So same thing with Splash Mage. If you could just make the future Cyberse deck types more interesting and have better ways to extend and have better hand trap resilience than Splash Mage, then I'm all for it. Sure. Less homogenization between the Cyberse decks. Okay. All right, but as far as this is a Malice hit. Hit on Malice. Okay. Now, how well is Malice doing in TCG? In the TCG, Malice is still a top 4 deck. And that's with Link Decoder banned and Splash Mage banned. And what else other hits they have? They have Semi-Limit on to the White Rabbit, the Field Spell, Limit to 1 on Dormouse. Apollo also, they have 3 banned extra deck cards, a lot of cards in the main deck restricted, and it's still a top 4 deck. I think all 3 formats, Master Duel, TCG, OCG, we're all rushing to be the first. The first of what? The first to dethrone Malice from being a top tier deck. It could still be a good deck, but this deck can't just forever be top freaking 4 since its inception. Who's going to be the first one to do it? All right, let's see. Splash, splash, splash. Baguska, this is good. I'm happy. I've been playing TCG recently with some decks like Triple D, and it's so annoying. They keep summoning Baguska on me, and I'm so happy. Every time they Baguska me, I am even more happier that it's restricted in Master Duel because it is so damn toxic and annoying. I got this full hand of Triple Ds and Pendulums. I'm like, oh, okay, great, awesome. What else? I hate the draw the out to out something that's toxic. Draw the imperm. No, that's not a good answer for a card game. Wow. Ransom and Splash Mage. What the heck? Okay. Will OCG be the first to dethrone Malice, as I was saying? Huh. Wait a second. So I initially thought of Splash Mage as this is not going to happen in Master Duel. They hit Ransom. So this is not going to happen in Master Duel. Now it's going to happen in Master Duel, only because they also are banning Ransom. What the heck? This is not instead of Ransom, it's with Ransom. That is a big difference. Okay, Malice players in Master Duel, expect this to happen, definitely. And wow, I didn't really notice how big Splash Mage's thighs are. That's crazy. All right, wow. Ransom and Splash Mage both freaking banned. What else we have here? What else? Gianna, can you disable the ad real quick if you can? Oh, no, I got it. Never mind. All right, let's see. Whew, Ransom and Splash both hit. OCG is going to be the one. Full changes. We wanted to look at the other top decks on the impact overall. Wow. This is the future of Maxx C and Master Duel. Definitely going to freaking 1. Impulse and Ash Blossom, these powerful hand traps that further massively boost up the turn 1 player in addition to being necessary for going second. It almost needs a full overhaul, but this is a good way to inch towards a better way of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I think so. That's good. And the unlimits seem kind of inconsequential. The Totally Awesome seems like a big deal. I'm not really sure what's going to happen with Metamorphosis. Is Scapegoat back with Metamorphosis? There's no freaking way that, we have a bunch of level 1 hand traps if needed to use with this, at least for any deck that does not need their normal summon. Pre-prep, yep, I think that's a good one. All right, wow. And let's see Draco Tail and Yummy. Because, while the ban list is also the future of Master Duel, so is their tier list. Let's see, Draco Tail, Yummy, and I guess Mitsurugi did get hit. So among these top decks, the only hits were, the top 4, straight up. Konami looked at Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta's tier list and said, okay, we're going to hit the top 4, done. Now, we click on OCG here. Ransom and Splash banned. While it's a top 3 deck, that's got to drop it down big time. Okay. And we saw what happened in Master Duel. Mouse in the Mirror went out. TB11 went in. Funny enough, they're still using TB11. Okay, we just played more TB11 for those that were not playing it. And then Draco Tail. I said this earlier, the Kitsu is limited to 1 already. And the Malulu, those are the only 2 hits. So double hit, Malu and Kitsu. Now, Malu's overall usage, Draco Tail at 3, of course. Dragon Maid, 1 or 3. Branded, sometimes using it at 1. So it doesn't really hit the other decks that wanted to tech this in. And then Yummy. Limit to 1 on the Marshmallow. That is the only main hit deck on a Yummy name outside of a Beating School being banned. So it's 2 hits. And then Snatchy went from 2 to 1. A lot of them, not the majority, were using Moon in the Closed Heaven. And Herald the Arc Light was already limited to 1. Okay, quite a decent chunk of, you know, Snatchy and this DD Crow, Bystial, onto Snatchy. That's going to be annoying. Oh, my Jesus. Do they have a way to recycle back a banished Snatchy? I don't think they do. If the Snatchy gets banished, it's gone for good, right? That's it. It's done. And what about Mitsurugi? Limited to 1, pre-prep 100%, used at freaking 3. Drop that fool down to 1. And a big reason to play Mirror was because of pre-preparation. So, you know, I was willing to play 3 pre-prep for 1 Garnet, but am I going to play a Garnet plus 1 card that enables my 1 Garnet? You know, the Garnet that we don't want to freaking draw? It reminds me of Psy-Frame gear. People don't want to play the Psy Driver, the normal monster that does freaking nothing. It's a brick, even though it still works if it's in the hand. This doesn't even work if it's in the freaking hand. If it's in the hand and then you have the pre-prep, oh my Jesus. This just might get completely removed. Mirror and pre-prep from the deck. So the deck loses 4 cards in total. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Wow. Interesting. What are some reactions to this ban list on Master Duel meta? Let's see. Guys, it's happening. It has to be about Maxx C, right? Yes, Maxx C's happening. One more roach. Yup, one more time and it's fully banned. Okay, critical condition, not dead, right? Okay, one more bug. Yup, one more. Maxx C to 1 in MD. It definitely, this is not cope. It's going to happen. Okay, damn, hand trap hits. Yeah, Ashen Impulse. Yup. Playing some Triple D recently, I really got to be thinking about the Ashen Impulse. Like if they Ash my continuous spell, then my Queen's stuck in the back row, you know, you play around the Ash, but then they have a freaking Impulse out of nowhere. Holy moly. So there you go. That's the ban list. I think this is good for the future of Master Duel because likely what happens in OCG also happens in Master Duel. That's it.